All right, rains pretty heavy there. Jim, thank you. Good morning, New Hampshire. Good morning, J Dog. We have a pretty nice looking Monday and Tuesday for you to start our week. And welcome to 6 days into May. We are going to be on the warmer side today and tomorrow, but you just heard in our local weather Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, things get cooler, cloudier, and guess what? A little bit more of the showers, I guess. Hey, whatever you did this weekend, a lot going on sports wise, news talk wise. Good morning, New Hampshire. Hey Google, hey Alexa, play the Pulse of an H. Bruins get it done. Actually, they're going tonight against Florida in Florida. It's a 8 o'clock drop of the puck. Bruins back in action. What a J Dog! I don't know if you and we've rarely talked about like horse racing, but the Kentucky Derby. Literally, that's what the Webster's definition of a photo finish. That was a photo finish, not even a nose. That was like a whisker. Yeah, yeah. Mm. Really, it was fun. I love watching all the pomp and circumstance, as they say. Hey, wait, listen, we have a lot going on this morning as we get going on this Monday out of the gate. And again, I do hope you had a good week. And a reminder, 1 week from this Wednesday, we'll be into our 12-hour Make 12 Hours Count for Veterans Count, part of Easter Seals, New Hampshire. Vetscount.org is the organization. My 10th annual. We got Benny Media and our network of news talk stations, 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. for our veterans, commercial free, next a week from Wednesday. We're going to have some great stories and make it a big day of veteran advocacy and support. So, what a bizarre time, right? I mean, we're waiting to see what commencements are going to look like or if they're happening at all. Remember a week or so ago when finally they cleared the deans or the Hamilton Hall, Columbia University, of all the agitators? They said, we will have commencement now. Columbia University in New York City, no, not having a commencement. We've seen some other commencements. I saw, I think it was Michigan. They have a huge graduation there, and they had a group of agitators that tried to disrupt the graduation. And guess what? They were met with a lot of booze, not the stuff you drink either. So we'll see what happens. What will commencements look like in college campuses? As I said on Friday, the good news is, I guess, for colleges, they're almost done for the year. Maybe you don't wonder, will these agitators, will they leave and go get jobs over the summer? Kind of a low unemployment rate, plenty of jobs available to go to work unless they're getting paid to be an agitator. President Trump back in court. And what a circus this is becoming. I'm just saying, it's just amazing. They have no one else in Manhattan to bring into trial between the DA or the Attorney General in New York City, Manhattan. If Trump isn't there, I don't think there's any other cases to go after. Now, this one seems to be unraveling, the so called hush money case. Israel making a pretty serious warning to Palestinians or anyone left in that area of Rafah in southern Gaza to say basically evacuate before a ground invasion to finish this job of eliminating the terrorist organization known as Hamas. Yeah, the same organization that a lot of these students and adult professional agitators have been basically indirectly or directly glorifying. I don't know if you heard. There's a As we get going, we'll have some of our regular guests giving some expert analysis. And the latest, now there's an ABC poll 6 months out. The latest ABC poll before the presidential election shows a very tight battle between, and this is what's amazing. I'll come back to Robert F. Kennedy Jr. between Biden and Trump. I think the problem for both, particularly Joe Biden, and by the way, the CNN poll had a bigger lead for Trump over Biden, is that where Biden is weak, people are picking up on it. They don't think Biden will do as good of a job as Trump on the economy, immigration, the southern border, sort of what's going on in the world and the economy. But on abortion rights and health care, they like Biden more, the people polled. They also think Biden may be a slightly nicer guy. But guess what people are going to vote for with out of control inflation still, in my humble opinion? Pocketbook wallet issues. This economy is slowing or it's tightening, and a lot of people don't have enough money. But look at you. If this race is even as close as these polls are saying 6 months out, Robert F. Kennedy Jr. or even Cornell West, third part, or Jill Stein. But Kennedy, if he gets more than 10%, he's not going to win, but he can play a spoiler role in terms of Biden or Trump. But again, look at the issues. And remember, it wasn't too long ago, people were saying Trump can win the primaries, but he can't win a general election. 6 months out, the CNN poll had a bigger lead for Trump. but in a they actually made it a five-way contest in this one, and it shows. Let's just tell you the race. ABC News. It was Langer, Langer, Research Associates, and that finds the race at 42% for Trump, 40% for Biden, 12. Listen to this: 12% for Robert F. Kennedy Jr. And then the other candidates are like 1 or 2%. The point is, Kennedy gets 12%, 12%. Even though 77% of those people responding to the ABC poll say they don't know much about him, but they know the name Robert F. Kennedy Jr. Who's been saying that over and over here? Kennedy's name is better now known 6 months out than Ross Perot was when Bill Clinton beat George Bush Sr. and Perot helped him. And I think the last time I checked, Clinton was a two-term president. So Trump leads in trust with voters to handle 6 of the big 10 issues in the survey, which included, by the way, the economy. He has listen to this. This is where the pollsters and the newspaper, 14-point advantage over Biden. Inflation, 14-point advantage over Biden. Crime and safety, almost 10 points. 17-point lead over Biden in terms of trusting to handle immigration at the U.S.-Mexico border. And 8 points higher, almost 10, to trust to handle the wars between Israel and Hamas and what's going on in Ukraine. Biden was strong, guess what? On abortion rights and healthcare. Where do you think Democrats are going to focus and put more of their chits on the table, if you will? And even these local races here in New Hampshire, abortion rights, the Democrats are going to trumpet that horn all day long. Radio, web, social media, TV, abortion rights, abortion rights, abortion rights. They're not going to want to talk about those areas where Trump has double-digit leads over Biden, namely the economy, inflation, wars in the world, in southern border, Mexico, U.S. immigration crisis. What are the what are the things that stress people out the most right now? Inflation, economy, things are too expensive. You worry about the war. You worry about what's going on in the Middle East. You worry what's going on in Ukraine, but the Middle East right now, front and center. You worry about your kids. You worry about the border and crime. All those areas where I've been talking about crime, immigration, economy, inflation, border, Trump, double digits, some cases high as 17% over Joe Biden. Abortion rights is going to matter, but you add up all those other ones. And Robert F. Kennedy Jr., the story no one is talking about in the ABC poll, 12%. All Kennedy needs to do to affect this race and play a spoiler role is get over 20%. And I'm not sure, but here's my theory on that. Who does it help more or hurt? Kennedy, if he gets 12, 15, 19%. Some of our analysts think he'll get up to 19%, 15% in states like New Hampshire with independent voters. So who does it help? Who does it hurt? Last time I checked, and these trials in Manhattan are making it even stronger, the Trump voters are like that end zone goalpost on an NFL field. He doesn't move. Trump's got that. He's got a base that is rock solid for him. Biden does not have a Democrat base that is rock solid for him. It's semi-solid when you go abortion rights because Democrats will circle the wagon on abortion rights. But with independent voters, if Kennedy's polling, I think, and he's a Democrat by nature, even though he's running as an independent, I mean, the Kennedys are known what? They're not known as Republicans or Trumpers. They're known as a Democrat family. JFK, I mean, President Kennedy. So I think it hurts Joe Biden. That's my take on it. Hey, Google. Hey, Alexa, play The Pulse of an H. As we get going on a Monday, enjoy today and tomorrow more than the rest of the week, especially tomorrow. Looks nice. Sunny, near 70 for a high. Jack Heath, J-Dog on the boards. Back in a few. All right, welcome back. Welcome back on this Monday morning. Pretty nice out there today and tomorrow, J Dog. Those are the walking days. Tomorrow's going to be even warmer, and then it cools off and gets a little cloudy, and maybe some showers Wednesday through the rest of the week. I hate to tell you that, but Bruins in action tonight. Florida, what a game it was the other night, Pasta. You know that was a set play. The dump pass into the zone. Pasta got behind the defense and then was able to deke it in. What a great overtime win for Boston. It was great for them to be on that side of it. Toronto, ugh, wow. It must be kind of a bummer. They've been way was it is it 57? I saw some number and the Bruins keep doing it in game 7 of the Maple Leafs, J Dog. Unbelievable. Unbelievable, J Dog. All right, I want to come back to this college stuff for a moment because the good news, if you're getting a little tired of this, um, it's almost the end of the college school year. So these campuses that have literally become havens for, I don't think this is as loosely and organically, um, how do I say this? Or I don't think this is this movement. And again, I said to someone over the weekend, I don't know who thinks of these terms, like who came up with the term agitator. Um, Yeah, it's just amazing. I don't think this is just a loosey goosey natural movement. I think there's a lot of orchestration to it. I talked to some of the folks who, let's just say, on the public safety side, were very much involved or were aware of what's going on. And what happened last week at Dartmouth College, and of the near 100 arrests, you'd be a little bit surprised to know that not all those were students of Dartmouth College, and some of them weren't even 18 to 22. They were like professional adults that just love to go around and agitate or stir up the agitators. Is that right? I mean, um, and it's almost like in this. I know we've had protest in this country. It's part of a democracy is free and open speech and protests. But as you know, these have gone beyond the peaceful point when you start talking like for death to Israel. This is good. This is anti-Semitism, and it's a very serious thing. Or at least it used to be a sacred, serious thing in this country. But what about the students who are not caught up in this? What about the average student who a couple years ago had to go through remote learning because of some asinine policies associated with the virus, which, by the way, was engineered at a lab in Wuhan after Fauci told Rand Paul and all of us we're nuts. So they did all this remote learning. So some of these students missed out on, a year or two of college sports, which is a precious gift, a year or two of college fun and education, which is a precious gift. You're young once, and no commencements. And here we go. Now this. So I'm just thinking for some of the students who aren't caught up in this. And the thing that I think is concerning to me is this actually is a pretty orchestrated movement funded by someone, organized by someone with my opinion, very anti-American interest. Forget the whole Israel Hamas thing. And you're going to see an escalation in Rafah as the Israel ground forces go to break the back of the what remains of Hamas. By the way, Hamas is a terrorist organization. Let me repeat that. Hamas is a terrorist organization, not a peace driven organization like some of these students have gotten all twisted around cheering for Hamas. So I the good news is the college year is almost over. That's the good news. That's the good news. The bad news is we're not through it yet. How many commencements are going to be canceled or postponed? And again, I look at this and some things, as I've said on the last few weeks, and it's been a dominating story. I've looked at this saying, okay, some of this does not shock me or surprise me because today we have social media, and it really does change just about everything. Communications, social media platforms like Instagram. I don't know if if TikTok still, if they haven't banned it yet. My point is, students can take pictures and send videos and get very orchestrated, and that can be, that's 24/7 social media. So, but what really does concern me is the anti-Semitism, and it's gone beyond just a Palestine peace and Gaza thing. So I think most people, when you see President Joe Biden come out and say as much, and when you see the Columbia University call the New York City Police Department to come in and clear that campus and that building, I think that even people who tend to be on that side of the political aisle, closer to the squad, the so-called progressive squad, Representative Ocasio Ortez and the gang, I call it regressive. They're cheering on the students and the anti-Israeli stuff. But when you see Columbia starting to shut it down, 8 out of 10 people see it for what it is. And, I don't know if it's gonna last. It's not going away. It is not going away. And Neil Levesque, one of our regular contributors who is involved in academia and college life, did say it pretty well on Friday, I believe, on the end of the last week of my show when he said, "A lot of this is just protest against civilization." Not all these students are even aware of history and what they're protesting. It's just really cool to be part of this. It's really cool to protest. It's kinda cool. And you look at different movements where a lot of these now we're calling them professional agitators, paid agitators. They can go in and tell you how to shut down a highway, occupy Wall Street. It there is you gotta look at this thing, and what's concerning to me, the most concerning thing is not a handful of college students who don't know better. It's the adult backbone of this thing that is stirring this up, but it's an anti-American sentiment. Not even I mean, some of this stuff was being done before Hamas attacked Israel on October 7th, before that Saturday morning on October 7th, before the massacre in Israel, which a lot of these students and professors and adult agitators want to ignore. "Oh, where's the proof?" Oh my goodness. I remember Ward Churchill after 9/11. He was actually a bona fide he was a college professor and come on in. I got. He was a college professor at Boulder University in Colorado, and he was telling the students and 9/11 didn't happen. Those towers crumbling down, those planes, it was just a figment of your imagination. Didn't really happen, and blamed us. So what really is concerning me as we come out of this college year, good news is it's almost over. Bad news is this anti-American sentiment is brewing and it's being perpetuated by professional agitators. I wonder if it's the same people who like name Snort. No, that would be the Weather Channel. But even speaking of southern border and the immigration crisis, isn't it not funny? It's just bizarre how these terms morph. Illegal aliens, illegal immigrants, illegal migrants. Then it's just migrants. Now it's undocumented citizens. So agitator is a word that we're going to kind of carry into the summer, I think. I might even name a boat after it. All right, some commentary. 603-228-2080. We come back. Some of our regular contributors. Brad Card, will there be a vote to question the House Speaker in Washington this week? Also, Donald Trump back in court. I don't think there's anyone else to put into courtrooms in Manhattan if it's not Trump. But again, CNN needs ratings. Back in a moment. Aren't you going to say who the best team in baseball is? You always do that. Is it Cleveland? Who is it now? Oh, was it? Yeah. All right. Hey, we have a lot going on. We're going to be joined by some of our regulars and contributors, I believe. Brad Card and Associates, live out at DC, is going to be checking in on this Monday morning. We're also going to hear from Anna Brown in the 11 o'clock hour Citizens Count. Believe it or not, with all the stuff, Trump back in court, college commencements, agitators on campuses, all the stuff in the world, inflation. We do have local legislative stuff here at home. I'm still looking at the breakdown of this ABC News poll, and you know what's interesting? When ABC and CNN have major polls on the presidential stuff, and they kind of reinforce each other. Polls are only a snapshot in time. You ever notice in politics, by the way, if you're behind and the poll's not good for you, your standard line is, "Oh, it's only a snapshot in time." But if the poll's good for you, "Oh, this is great. This is true. This is real. This is wonderful." But 6 months out, now think of how quickly life goes. Think about like just a month ago. Think of everything that just happened in April that we is already gone. It seems like 3 months ago. March Madness, the Masters. I mean, J Dog, we always use sports as a barometer, right, Dog? We're 6 months out, J Dog, to a presidential election. We're not even into Memorial Day yet, but you know how quickly life goes. That's not that far away. And by the way, we've already gone through a primary here. All these people ran. It's Trump, Biden. By the way, I have one that no one's even thought about. Can you imagine? Can you imagine what the DNC, the Democrats nationally, their convention is going to look like? I think is it Milwaukee? I don't know where it is this summer. With speaking of agitators and protesters, they'll be protesting Biden more because they're on that side of the fence. Oh my goodness, can you imagine those conventions and I'm sorry, the agitator. This is Chicago. Chicago. I'm sorry. And by the way, isn't it funny how history repeats itself? They kind of had a raucous convention once in Chicago, if my memory serves me, J Dog. So this is going to be interesting, but 6 months to go before the presidential election. 6 months to go, and it's a tight race with Trump leading in both the CNN and the ABC poll. Now, the only reason why I'm playing this up, and there were more than 2,200 adults in this survey, is they did throw in Robert F. Kennedy Jr. in the poll, as well as Cornel West and Jill Stein. Trump still wins. This poll's interesting to me because Trump, okay, I'll get right 1 second. Trump is leading Joe Biden. It's tight. CNN poll had Trump by 9 points, but this is where I think it's interesting. Kennedy gets 12%. We'll come back to see what our next expert and one of our political all-stars and analysts thinks on that, how that cuts. But this is what I think is interesting. In the key areas of economy, this is where it gets very important. Trump has more trust to handle 6 out of 10 of the big issues tested in the survey, which I think are going to affect and matter to a lot of voters, including independent voters. Biden is ahead in just 2. So the big indicators that voters care about are the economy. Trump has a 14-point advantage over Biden in handling the economy. Inflation, 14-point advantage in trust. Crime and safety, almost 10 points. But this is the big one. And Brad Card of Card and Associates joins us. And Brad, you've been saying this. Few people have been talking about the U.S.-Mexico border and immigration. Brad's been saying it's the top issue. 17% of the people in the CNN poll trust Trump, not Biden, to do a better job with immigration. And 8 points to handle, almost 10-point trust to handle the wars between Israel and Hamas and Ukraine. Biden, of course, does well on abortion, access, and health care. Brad Card, good morning. What do you think of that ABC and it follows that CNN poll in some regards? And of course, this isn't the first time, right? He said bombastic yeah, he said bombastic things for the Mhm. We right. Well, another one in the poll I just wanna mention you're touching upon indirectly is crime in major cities is a concern for people. Yeah, yep, yeah. No, I know. Brett, I know. Yeah, I know, Brett, I wanna come back though to something you're talking about on the Biden Trump stuff in this poll. So you and you've said for a few weeks now that you think Joe Biden is reelection. You just said the stars and whatever are aligning against him, that he's underwater, he's in trouble. But let me ask you this: if you're in the Biden camp and you're looking at reelection here, and you know that the Democrats and whoever the independents are who care about abortion rights will circle the wagon on abortion rights and health care. That's about it for Biden. But all these other indicators in the poll: inflation, economy, southern border, southwest border, the two wars, crime. Trump is more trustworthy. And again, pocketbook issues, wallet issues. So if you're the Biden White House, where do you gain ground beyond abortion rights and healthcare? How do you convince Americans that you can be trusted to deal with the economy when most have already concluded that Trump would do a better job? What do you do if you were in that Biden camp? But what about the economy? How does Biden gain some trust when the economy, when inflation is continued and people just are running out of money to pay for things in their life and they're working, low unemployment rate? Obviously, the economy is a problem and going to be an issue this fall. Hmm. Right. What I've right. want to throw this one at you, Brad Card. One thing that I'm surprised, and I do want to end on the Speaker Johnson question this week on that vote and what you think will happen before we let you go, because you're an expert on the legislative congressional stuff. Brad, one story that I think both parties, regardless of the president, they're both responsible. Biden, I think, has been unbelievable in this in a bad way, but 34, $35 trillion in debt. Why doesn't Trump at this point also throw out there, even if it's just rhetoric with the economy, inflation, and explain simply to Americans how much that imbalance of debt does hurt people and makes it worse with inflation, and say, if I'm elected again, we're going to seriously address the debt and start cutting spending in Washington in areas we can. Even if he doesn't say specifics, it's going to be received. No, but what I'm saying, why not try and grab that mantle and start throw it into your repertoire. I know, but you're missing my point. Biden isn't going to do it. Bill Clinton was the last president I know that really cut into this situation. This is getting out of control. Why doesn't Trump just, even if he doesn't have the credibility, just talk about it? That's a very good point. Very good point. That's a good point. Nope, you just made an excellent. Yep. Yep. Nope, you just made a very good point. You just missed a good point. See, he's very comfortable with it. Before we let you go, speaker vote. What's going to happen? Right. Brad Card, you were on. Okay, real quickly, game one tonight up in down in Florida. No one knew you're probably going. We know what an overtime win. What a play with Pasta dumping, picking up that puck behind the defense. Okay, so what do you have game one tonight? Always important. What do you have? Well, you should be. Look at last year. Yeah. Yep. 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 When you watch that again, I watch it 10 times in the morning. I watch it live. Did he turned the Jets on. He just barely stayed on side, and he was just gone like a rocket. Brad, my only quick take on this, because I love talking this with you, is real quick. Um, whenever the team has been off a little bit and they've been practicing, the Panthers, they've had to wait a little bit. Bruins are coming out with just really a day or so rest with some momentum and some emotion. They got to carry that emotion and try and get a win in the first game here, because it gives them a little bit. But you know what? I think this one too will go to 7 games, and who knows? All right, Brad Card, thank you. I know. And you notice all that happened up in Toronto, and Bruins win without the agitators. Thank you, Brad. All right, take a quick break. Back with Doug Tangton, World Market Advisors. What does he think about this ABC News poll on the economy, inflation? People do care about inflation. They care about their pocketbooks. And how could that impact things this fall? Back on the pulse of an age. Yeah, let me yeah, in the afternoon, but enjoy today and tomorrow this week. Doug, I'm not gonna get political with you, I promise, but I do but but it is no, I'm actually I'm not a politician, Doug. No, I'm not a politician. I don't. But seriously, it's been an interesting year with the economy. Experts like you, our friends at Bank of America, and you've all been sort of saying the same thing for the last year or two. We're going to avoid a recession. Going to avoid a recession. Eventually, the Fed will start lowering these high rates that have doubled. And guess what? We are maybe going to avoid a recession, but I'm sensing the economy, and this ABC poll is showing it to me with 2,200 likely voters in November. The economy is rising as an issue of what's concerning to them. And usually, when the economy is booming, we have low unemployment. But the problem is inflation and everything costs so damn much. Affordable housing. Now, all of a sudden, people's wallets and pocketbooks do matter to them. And that's a sign to me that the economy may be a bigger issue going into this election than I would have thought 6 months ago. Yeah, it's interesting. And then you have other things that so quickly can affect the economy, like the Middle East, like Ukraine, on things like energy prices and all that. And then switching gears, I think a lot of people are concerned on some other issues. What else is catching your eye this morning, Doug? Which, no, I was going to say, isn't that amazing? Because it seems like that's a long time, but let me ask you a question. How long ago does March Madness seem to you, or the Masters golf, or your last ski run? It already seems like that was a couple months ago, just a few weeks ago. So time goes very quickly. Yeah, it does. All right, Doug, you make it a good one. Enjoy today and tomorrow, milder and better than Wednesday and Thursday. Thank you, Doug. Worldmarketadvisors.com. Thank you, Doug. I'm watching again. I sometimes feel like I'm in a movie with aliens. Sometimes I feel like Independence Day or something, like the aliens are already here. I got to share this one with you in a moment, but I'm watching the CNN. Of course, it's good for ratings. It's just this Trump hush money trial. Trump hush money. Trump hush money. And I'm watching this and I'm thinking, okay, Manhattan. Again, it's just my common sense gene at work here. Manhattan's a pretty busy, populated area, right? I mean, New York City, the Big Apple, last time I checked, is a pretty good sized place. Is Donald Trump the only person to get into a courtroom in Manhattan? Is it just me? I mean, how many courtrooms, how many days? And by the way, this is going on how many weeks? I mean, is it all just for show and ratings or what? Do they not have like bank robbers or Bernie Madoffs of the world to go after in New York City? Is I mean, I'm not saying it's funny, but I don't know what else to do to laugh. I think Trump's the only person to put on trial. So this is I gotta just share this one with you. This one's classic. This this audio this audio accompanies a video that someone forwarded to me, and it's hilarious. This is what Ivy League education looks like in 2024. I'm like, this is they say this is what a Ivy League education looks like in 2024. And it's like they got these student protesters or agitators all dressed up because they all have the let's just say the proper COVID mask on and whatever to cover up their identity, and they got the uniforms, if you will, and they're all out there sort of stretching and pulling these bands with these tents. I'm sorry. Oh, you know the differences, and by the way, when I got out of college, it was a crazy world. People forget. I mean, we had problems in the Middle East. We had, by the way, isn't this ironic? Isn't this ironic? You can't invent irony. In Tehran, they had American prisoners. That was all back when what's his name was trying to get him released, and Jimmy Carter and the failed mission. So I'm graduated. The difference with these students and my buddies and me at UVM, I remember sitting around the fraternity room right about this time of year, a week before our commencement, going, "Oh my goodness, the party's over. It's time to get a real job. It's time to get a real job and go out and pay our own, pay our way. It's time to go out and work, guys. The party's over. The party's over." It's like I can't imagine any of these students working anywhere on that video. I just can't imagine them doing a real job. Maybe they can become maybe their master's degree is going to be professional agitators, BA, BS degree, PA, professional agitators. Hey, Google, hey, Alexa, all that. It's a good to laugh on a Monday. Play the Pulse of Nate Shack, Heath, the illustrious one, J Dog on the boards. Back in a moment.